The bread is almost thawed out.
Okay. You guys make it sandwich. Thanks for slamming my door. Boy. Let's see. All right. So, good afternoon. Blessings to all that are joining, and those that are watching on the replay. Praying that everybody is doing well, good health, strength, and those of you that are not, Godspeed. Tomorrow's a new day, brand new day. It's not promised, so look forward, but look forward. Yeah, just, a new day may come your way if you are having a bad day or I don't know, chaos issues, because that's life. If you're dealing with life, just think about tomorrow. And be blessed when you awake the next day, and just, go back and reflect. The day before, it wasn't that bad. It was not that bad at all. Let's take it one day at a time. So, life happens, and if we knew our destiny and our fate day to day, what quality of life would we live? Just, a challenge I see as it's a positive in my book. It's motivation. I never look at anything in a negative because I just don't know. I have no idea, and it takes a lot. You have to overcome a lot of things and apply those learning experiences later on, so that you don't find yourself looking at things in a negative all the time. Like I said, life happens. We all get a setback, but a setback is just a setup for a come up. It truly is. So it makes me go harder.
Mom, with this sandwich, can we have some chips and guacamole?
If we have any guac, I don't know if we have.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I have always been one to like I said, just, I don't know, it was confidence was instilled in very young. And no matter what it is, I never let anybody steal, come in my court and steal my ball. I never do. Um, and I try to, keep the kids on the same level. We're also grounded. It's not superficial or anything, but you got to root for yourself sometime. I think everybody is phenomenal in their own way. Everybody's worth something. You just have to take the time to figure out what it is you are actually, your place and your value. And as a mom, I know a lot of times that's very difficult to just sit and reflect. And so I spend a lot of time doing that. I'm not just somebody's mom, cleaning up after them, cooking, taking care of them. That's just, it is what it is. I'm not complaining about it. The aim is to encourage.
Oh, warm up the bread now.
Okay.
It's thawed out, but it's still cold.
For like 30 seconds. Just, some encouragement for those of you that, sometimes in the middle of the day, you just want to go throw the covers over your head. I've been there and done that. It's been a long time. I don't sweat the small stuff. But yeah, it's just kids. It's just kids. It's just stuff, So my deal is I just try to prioritize and take it one step at a time, because especially when it comes to things at home, those are things that pretty much you can manage. It's those unexpected events and issues and occurrences that throw a curveball, and I like to be ready for those things. So I don't spend a lot of time on little things. So, I'm trying to think what something I wanted to touch on specifically. I got to start keep better notes. I have not written. Pretty much I have a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and address and things like that, and I always seem to forget. I seem to forget, but it's good stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to think where I want to go with this. Homeschool wise. All right. Okay, I know something I do want to kind of address. I've gotten questions and things on how to deal with rivalry, sibling rivalry, as far as homeschooling. Maybe I need to retitle this video. Maybe I will afterwards. But, or this chat. What I see a lot of are issues that in the homeschool community that are masked as homeschool issues. And honestly, they're not homeschool issues. All of these issues are pre-existing issues. Okay? And people are using these issues, or they're using homeschool as a cover to say that that's where these issues arise. They didn't. It's flat out parenting issues. That's all it is. It's parenting issues. It's not the child. And I see a lot of that. And I don't want to sound negative or what do you call it? I'm not trying to disrespect anybody or anything like that. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But they are pre-existing issues that have already existed from the beginning. I, have spent a lot of time with the kids, all the kids. I spent a lot of time in front of therapists, psychologists and things like that, and psychiatrists, and we just sit and talk about, things like this. And I'm, taken aback by some of the things that they tell me and vice versa. They're like, you know what? Wow. And they can tell. They can tell, with parenting skills. And no, not everybody has parenting skills. It takes a long time to develop, skills and learn curves. And, I'm a veteran, so I can, I have some lot of experience under my belt. It wasn't always like this, though. It was not at all. I just try not to think too far ahead, but I do think about certain situations and things like that and how to deal with those situations, mainly the major things. Because like I said, unexpected stuff, you can't really prepare for those things. It's just something that happens in the moment. But major things with the children, I've always been one to kind of think ahead and think, okay, what if that happened to my kids? I think about my friends, and not a comparison, but issues that they deal with, and they do the same things. It's you talk to your girlfriend, you bounce ideas, you tell your girlfriend what your kids did, that type of thing. And it's like, where do these kids get this ideas and behaviors and things like that? And sometimes we'll say, you know what, remember when such and such happened? I'm talking long relationships with these friends, 20 years. So you remember when such and such happened? Do you think that this is, the stem? It's a spinoff from what happened, and it's like, yeah, you're right. You have to think back. You have to think long and hard. So I'm very careful about things that I do with the kids, things that I expose them to. I cannot stress that enough. Guys, TV. I know it seems so far-fetched and so crazy. Social media is insane. You guys, I was sitting here watching something. It was the news. I was watching the news. And I usually don't watch the news, but I was actually turning it off. But the things that these kids are exposed to, okay? You cannot expose your kids to things. TV is corrupt, period. It's corrupt. I don't care what it looks like, cartoony, family show, all of it is corrupt. And that's kind of like what I do with, books. That's the reason why I always read every book I give my kids, because I need to know what's in the book. I need to know situations, details, because I want to prepare for how they are going to react. And they're not all going to react the same way, but certain behaviors come from everything.
You told him they could warm up bread in the microwave to make a sandwich?
Yeah. Why? Why?
Because I saw Tori standing up on the counter to warm up bread.
I told Javen to make their sandwiches.
You told him what?
I told Javen to make the sandwiches.
I thought this was going to take I should have taken some plane with her.
She didn't. She left it.
She forgot it?
Maybe she forgot it. I don't know. She didn't need it. come back and get it. Or I'll take it to her. But, yeah, certain, just anything. And it, the same thing with us adults. We watch things and it, we react in certain ways. Social media, even conversation, general conversation. I'm going to get back to what I was saying in just a minute. But I was talking to my sister one time and I was telling her some stuff. And, I talk about the emotional side of social media, especially with women. I was telling her stuff and, we can share, deep things. And she was getting, I don't want to say, she was, in some feelings behind what I was saying. It had nothing to do with her, but she was like, girl, why? I wouldn't, and I'm like, yeah, I know. So, yeah, exposure, just little things. But this thing, this kid playing this Fortnite, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever. And the mom, okay, hold on, excuse me. Another interruption.
Do you have a new jelly sandwich?
No.
Why?
Okay. They know better. But yeah, playing, I think the kid was probably about 7, I think they said. Playing this Fortnite game, okay? The mom, gets on there, does her little spiel about, well, I can't even trust my son online, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know, she had to be in her 20s. And I'm thinking, you are so clueless and ignorant. You can't even trust a teenager. Okay, why would you put a kid? I don't, those of you that don't have, that don't give your children access, kudos. Those of you that do and claim that, it's good, it's safe, they're not doing whatever. You guys, it's not. Any little button that they push, you have no idea. You even do it sometimes. Going to certain sites and then you end up with a virus, okay? You can't just turn them loose like that. But this child was playing with an adult, this Fortnite, and, they convinced them, they're playing online, to give out mom's information, everything. And I'm like, why would you even let that child play that game in the first place? Okay, and then adults, really? You think because it's online and it's not, an adult sitting there in front of them, it's okay? I can't believe people. This internet safety, some parents are so, because they're so lax themselves and they have no idea. You guys, I'm going to tell you something else. Packages. I see a lot, and a lot of people are sharing these things. Unboxings and just curriculum and stuff like that. What happens is some people do not even black out the address. But you know what? The barcode, you guys, let me tell you something. When you see my stuff, the barcode is covered up. Do you know that we can scan a barcode with our phones from the computer? You're not covering anything just because you cover up the address. We can scan the barcode and get the same information, if not more. Okay? Safety. Be safe. Be smart. If I were, mail, same thing. If you're getting mail from people, yeah, rip it off. Yeah, rip off the barcode. If you're getting mail from somebody, I send things to people. Please don't share. I always cover up the information. You can keep my address. I don't mind, but cover it up. Don't come. I got out straight out the mailbox. Don't do that. Respect people's privacy, especially, even a P.O. box. Respect people's privacy. That is so dangerous. But yeah, a barcode. You can get that mess off. And people do it all the time because they don't realize. They think it's just the address. You can scan a barcode. You can get people's IP addresses and things like that from the barcodes. So, they got your location right there. Don't leave that stuff in your car. People can scan that stuff from the car. If you got a package and you go, in the store or something like that, don't do that. Put it in your trunk, turn it over so it's not visible. They can take a picture, they can put it on social media. You know what? You just don't trust people like that. But people get too comfortable, Tanya. I agree. So I just, this lady with this child, I'm just like, poor lady, But then again, I'm like, why would you turn that child loose like that on their computer? Okay? That's just, my own kids. And I tell them, look, you got to get your own computer. That way, if you get, you clicking on whatever, and you get a virus, that's on you. And your stuff is gone, that's you. You're not touching mine. You're not going into no kind of, this, that, and the other, even if it seems safe. No. And a lot of times, I'm very careful. I don't even use my own computer for that. I will use my phone because I'd rather take a hit on my phone than to get a virus on my computer. So I'll check it on whatever I'm trying to get to on my phone. And then I'll go to the computer. It's too much. Too much. So, but yeah, teach that, teach that to your kids, to other people, the barcode deal, stuff like that. I've seen a lot of, the vlogging of homes. I know so many people's addresses, locations, things like that because they're not that careful vlogging. And it's like, why would you want to show people where you live like that? I don't know. It's only certain times I do certain things. It's not an exact. And there are certain places I try not to get to. What's the word I'm trying to say? To the. You guys know I'm always off a day or two or something. On something I tell you like that. I just, if we're going somewhere, I might say tomorrow when it's actually the next day. I might say it's actually the next day when it's actually tomorrow. Just because I don't, I'm not going to say, oh, we're going down to the library and then somebody watching and then somebody's at the library. I said the other day my child was leaving. My child left yesterday, but I was not going to share, okay, she's going to the airport today, in front of everybody. She left yesterday. She made it. She's fine. She's safe. She's checked in. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah. So it's a good thing. But yeah, so many, some do, they wait and they share that information later on when they get back. That's the best thing. But I don't share, oh, we're getting ready to go over here. We're getting ready to go over here. If we're at a store, it's, you're not going to know the location. It's only, very few places that it's kind of hard to disguise because there's very, it's not that many of those stores, if that makes sense. But, yeah, I just, try not to share too much, keep it safe. But, yeah, these, when it comes to the kids, you have to, sibling rivalry, like I said, this thing comes from, it's not something that's not homeschool related. That's something that you're dealing with in the home. And it's not the child's issue, it's the parent issue. Okay, there are things that you're not addressing with that child. For one, the kids are at each other, Think about the relationship between yourself and your husband or your significant other. What do they see from the two of you? Because how they deal with siblings and other people, they're going to mirror that behavior from what they see. And if that's what they see, then that's how they're going to react and communicate with each other. When I see a couple of my kids that really, I'm not saying all my kids get along in perfect harmony. None of them, that's just, it's nature. Everybody gets on everybody's nerves at some time, but it's not where I'm, having to break up stuff. It just, it's not like that. Because they know how to communicate, and I talked the other day about things that we do so that we all can learn to communicate with each other. And we have been doing this. Like I said, it has nothing to do with homeschooling. This is a way, when they learn how to talk and walk and things like that, we learn how to talk about things. We're not at each other's throats about this, that, and the other. That's just insane. Competition, there should be no competition. But if your children are seeing they're arguing, to the point where they feel they need to be validated, and that's, a lot of what I can gather. Again, what are you doing yourself and your spouse with those children in the interim? No homeschool time. What kind of time are you putting in with those kids? Are you just always doing other things? Are you on social media? Obviously, you're ignoring them to the point where they have to aggravate each other. My kids know how to go entertain themselves rather than go aggravate each other like that. They have too much time on their hands. If they're at each other's throat, they can't stand each other. And at this point, if they're school age, that should have been something that was nipped in the bud a long time ago. But again, I hear it, and it just makes me I pray for you all to find some sort of guidance, some positivity. Spend more time with those kids. You have to cut back on doing some things because they need that time, and they need the time. We play board games, do things together so they can learn cooperatively to get along. And then you have to help them to understand that they each need time alone. There needs to be some sort of code word, like when I tell the kids I don't feel like talking, they know to back off. They'll do, say something to somebody and everybody knows, back off. I don't want to be bothered. They're going to go in their room, or they're going to go somewhere to alleviate arguments. Okay, get a code word, make a stop sign, do something. Even if it's, come on and let's pray. Do something. If you see, seriously, because I would get to that point. We need to pray. We're not going to argue. Let's pray about it. Okay? That way, because, it's just going to cut. I don't know. I'm hearing, without trying to get, too wrapped up and too personally involved, but I see it a lot. You upset, you're yelling because it changes your mood and your disposition. And so, of course, it's going to affect everybody else. And then nobody wants to do schoolwork because somebody's done something. Somebody had to go to timeout. And, you don't want that to happen. If a child needs to excuse themselves, they need to know this, excuse yourself. You shouldn't have to. You address the issue, let them take that time by themselves, and then you go and check on them. But it shouldn't be a whole family affair to where everybody's just blowing up. and it's a domino effect. Um, Communication. But, the games, like I said, the games, play games together. That way they learn how to collaborate. We think of things all the time to get them to work together so they can learn to work together, because once they go out in the world, they're not going to like people. I don't know anybody that goes to work and like everybody and get along with everybody they work with. You got, unless you work for yourself. Let me see. Do I like? I don't know. I have worked outside of the home and things like that. I got along with most of the people, but I like working for myself. My husband likes to work independently himself because he just does not want to be bothered with we're not somebody standing over our shoulder, punch the clock type people. Okay, we're not like that. You always have vital information for us. Thank you, sis. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you appreciate. But yeah, we learned that we're not that type of people. We have goals. We can get things done. We don't need people standing over us. But the majority of us have to work for somebody, and you have to get along, for the most part. So you have to teach those skills from the beginning, and that all starts with effective communication. So bottom line is, there's no sibling rivalry in the homeschool. That's not the issue. That issue is between yourself and your spouse. Okay? If you are single, it's between yourself and your children, but also they feed off of the communication and the relationships. They see your personal relationships with your friends. If they can hear you on the phone, saying, whatever, to your friend. Be careful when your kids are in earshot. I don't let my kids listen in or be within earshot when I'm on the phone, because in a heartbeat they running through the house. Mom said so and so to something, and I'm like, get out of my business. I don't do that, because you don't know how those children are going to interpret those things. Okay? And the time you spend on the phone, you should be with the kids. I'm on the phone at 10 o'clock. People know 10 o'clock at night. Usually around 8 something, I start getting text messages. But 10 is usually when I'm on the phone, because the kids are down. And I don't have to worry about anybody being here, unless we're just not doing anything, and I'm just, sometimes I do talk to people during the day, but most of the times I don't have time. So, yeah, when you take them out and about, from time they're very little, people will come up to us all the time. Your children are so well behaved. I mean, I'm talking 1-, 2-year-olds. Some people have a hard time taking their toddlers out to restaurants. They're running around. They're misbehaving. We never had that problem. I can remember taking one of my kids to IHOP one time, and she was just so well behaved. This man walked up to us and gave her a $20 bill. And it was like, he was like, she is just, so well behaved, and she hasn't screamed, and there was other kids in there, just, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And again, that was training. We didn't just start taking them here, there, and everywhere. We had to train them. You're not getting ready to run in the store and go all crazy and stuff like that. I have to teach you how to go to the store. Okay, we have things to do at the store. If we have to get groceries, we have to get groceries. If you act a fool, we leave the store. We get no groceries. So that's a problem. You're going to have to deal with me, and you're going to have to deal with your hungry stomach. And then you have to go home and explain to your dad why there's no food. So they, I just, use the store as a common example, because that's just the most common thing. But, they get comfortable with learning that, it's a training process. I know, If I'm going once a month, I know it's going to take some time. I don't spend a whole lot of time with them if I know they're going to be irritated, if they need a nap or whatever. I'm not just getting ready to run out because I need to run out. No, it can wait. Like when I was in the store shopping and I was out at the Gap and that child was hollering. I mean, people were looking like we couldn't even shop in peace, and that kid needed a nap. It was hot, and I'm like, man. Now, something could have been wrong. I'm not trying to talk about the kid or disrespect the parent or anything. Maybe the child was, had a mental issue, but really the child was just tired. But she was not even trying to tend to the child. And I'm like, go home. Why you even bring that baby out like this? It's just protocol. Don't bring your kids in situations like that. They don't know how to act. I hear a lot of people say, you want to teach your kids, train your kids how to act, take them to church. Take them to church. Because they have to know that there's this time they sit down and do this, and they have to do this, and certain times they can't do this, and they can't do that. And not all, it's not all bad where you just have to sit there and stuff like that, because everybody has exceptions, and church understand, and if they don't, then it's a problem with that place, because they know how kids are. If they don't have a place for the children and they have to sit in the sanctuary, then they understand. But yeah, you got to take them places. Take them to a theater, a play, take them to an opera, take them somewhere they have to really act decent, and train them. This is what you do over here. Do you see these kids doing this? Do you see? Train them. This is how you act in this place. And the first time they get out of line, you have to catch them. I listen to my kids all the time. If I hear them or see them doing something inappropriate, I stop them right then and there. Hey, what did you just do? Did you think about that person? Did you think about how that made them feel? That's why there's no, occasionally there's a riffraff, but we don't have that rivalry thing. They're not vying for our attention, and it's all these kids. Excuse me. They know my kids are very respectful. They know when to it's not, it's not, I don't know, I may seem very strict. It's not all strict. My kids just know better. They know how to behave. It's a time to play, and it's a time not to play. We just stress, very much about other people and how other people feel. And again, we did a lot of this in therapy and things like that. And no, not everybody needs to, have to have mental illness or whatever to go through therapy. Anybody can seek therapy. If you just are having issues and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to, communicate, or you just don't have anybody really to turn to, seek a therapist. They can help you out. A lot of our issues go through our pediatrician first, because we've had her for 20 some odd years, but she, I know now, she'll tell me, okay, I'm going to send you over here, and okay, when you go, tell me what happens. And that's how we, that's how we operate, because I don't know how to, I'm a parent, but parenting is hard. It's kids they do the darndest things. And I need help. And yeah, somebody's probably sitting there shaking their head. Well, what if the therapist don't have kids? Well, you know what? Not everybody has to have kids to know how to parent kids. I'm not for all of that, because that's just like education. You can read things. I'm sure they have observed and things like that. You can read things and learn. Not everybody needs to be in the school. You can graduate from college with a PhD and not set foot in the university. Okay, so don't be, don't have that one track mind. Yeah, People can read, things. It's not rocket science. But I'm a very observant person in general. I observe a lot of things. I have a very strong memory. And I know everybody can't do that, or not everybody has that gift. But I pay attention. I take notes. And I just learn. And sometimes things slip past me. Sometimes things, hit me from left field. But I just roll with it. I roll with it. And I can't really think off the top of my head. Teenagers, I can say teenagers is a different thing. But again, the rivalry doesn't start in the teenage years. The teenage years, I talked about this a while ago. And it was in a chat. And somebody was talking about, they have girls. A friend of mine has girls. And I talked about the age of maturity when the girls become, when they start to get their cycle, how you have to treat them and how you have to teach the other children to treat them. They need to be separated at certain times because they need their space and their feelings. They're dealing with that. And those are things you have to prepare for. I had to learn, from those. I didn't have sisters, and my mom separated. Well, pretty much, I didn't really say she separated me and my brother, but, she separated herself from me. I could say that because we were the females in the house. But she knew, it was just certain times that I just needed certain things, and she was sensitive to that. And so, that's what I was telling a friend to, explain to the daughter that's dealing with it, and then to the other daughter that, she's going to want to be in her room more. She's going to want to, be more private. Get them together because I would need to get them together so they're not arguing. Put them in the kitchen. Help them, let them help you cut up potatoes and, cook and, things that they can do together. Open mail, shred mail, things that they have to do. Play games, board game day. Okay? Something that they do have to do together so that they can have that little time together and they don't feel like they're being alienated. Because that's what happens when they're arguing with each other. They're feeling alienated at some point. If you're constantly dealing with a child that you say that has tantrums, guess what? You're spending all that time with that child. How do you think that makes the other children feel? Because you're having to stop every time this kid is blowing up and you're dealing with that kid. Trust me, I know because I have some, And I know the results of it. I know firsthand. Major degrees because you guys know, son. And that's the reason why we had to do out home, residential, treatments and things like that because everybody I had to deal with, they couldn't understand then, when they had to come in and start helping out and things like that. They didn't understand how I managed. Hi. Yeah, I was just talking about you, Miss Ann, you and the girls. But yeah, they did not understand because they said this would have drove me crazy. The kids, but it seemed like you have it all together. I said, I have to because I can't put all my time to him. But see, the thing they were worried about was he getting to where he needed to be, his appointments, his, therapies, school, things like that. How was I getting everything done? And I said, you know what? I have to pray about things and I just get it done. Everybody understands, but I make sure I spread myself even. I'm not giving him all the attention because he's blowing up. He has to understand at some point. I understand that you're dealing with something psychologically, emotionally, but at the same time, you have to be fair to everybody in this house. Everybody in my house has always known that our house is a collective, and if one person is off step, it throws off the whole train. And we have to help everybody in this house. It's like I was telling somebody just the other day, it's like a well-oiled machine. It really is. You just learn. Things just things just work like that. I was wondering if you were talking about. Yes, ma'am, I was. I mean, all good, all good. Um, I don't know if you guys write. Keep a journal, keep a diary, behaviors. Some little things you just really have to get detailed in. You really do. The kids are arguing. Okay, you're breaking up an argument. What you should do, first of all, is write down what they ate. Okay, write down what they ate. Write down what they were doing before that argument. Write down the argument. Write down what happened after the argument. Who said what? You read very detailed. What did you do? Write it all down. Okay? Keep a record of that for a good, just keep it forever. But keep a good record for a good week. Okay? Sometimes it don't take you that long, but I don't want you to just stop. Just do it and then stop. At the end of the week, go back and look at all of that. And I mean every little spat and detail that you have, that you find yourself. And then also, once you do that, you will find out some of those things you did not even have to intervene in. But you on the mom box, you're getting on my nerves. Can you just get along? Can you just stop it? No, they can't. Okay? Yeah, I know somebody might be shaking their head, but no, they can't. Because they're children and they don't know how to deal with that. Okay, think back. You were a kid. You didn't know how to deal with certain stuff. So you just, somebody didn't want to play with you. Fine, I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to be your friend. If they didn't want to share, that's what you told them. That's kids. That's just normal kid behavior. So some of that stuff is just, you're pushing it for no reason. Are you giving that kid attention? That's what you're looking for. What were you doing? Where were you at when this argument broke out? Where were you at? Could you have been in the room with them? Honestly, because what you're doing is you're holding yourself accountable. And you go back and take a long, hard look at that. And just see. Keep it going. Keep the thing going. Keep the record going. And that's a start. Because you have to start somewhere. And then you have to own it. Because I'm telling you, it's not the kids. It's not all the kids. It is very hard to give quality time to your children. I understand that. But again, there are many things that parents can do for these kids to give them time. 15 minutes a day. Most kids don't even get that, individual time. And that's sad. Yes, their brains aren't developed enough. They don't know how to resolve these conflicts sometimes. Yeah, sit down and read to these kids. Sit down and talk to these kids. That's why we make up all kind of scenarios and things like that. Just because we want to see where their heads are, what they're thinking. Let them know how we're thinking. We thought maybe you would have reacted this way, or maybe you would have thought that way. A lot of times we find out like that we don't know our kids as well as we do. So yeah, they don't. And what we do things like when we have major, not even major conflicts. It's one of those argument things. I could be, like I say, I could be upstairs and somebody could be downstairs, or I could be, they could be, I could be down and they could be up and somebody's doing something. I don't have to know. I could be in the shower and not even hear, but when I hear, the situation after I come out, oh my goodness, I can know who did it. I don't even have to be present. I can tell I can tell how the whole scenario went because I know my kids. I've done this observation thing. Okay, we sit down, we play judge and jury. Okay, We got the bailiff, we got the judge, we got the jury, we got the prosecutor's defense. It's enough of us to do all of that. And we really sit down and have a court. And they learn how to effectively work out that issue. By the time we get done working it out, it wasn't an issue. It was fun, because we did it. And the person that, is seemingly guilty finds out that, yeah, you've been convicted. Okay, I could have done this, and I should have reacted this way. We try not to make a negative out of it, but the point is to let them have the floor, get whatever it is off their chest, why they were behaving this way, if it was towards them or towards me or to their dad or even to their friend. Okay, my kids love that. They love stuff like that. And I mean, seriously, we do stuff like that. I can't remember. I don't know. It probably was the Cosby Show, y'all. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's probably where I got that from. I'm telling you, because you guys know when they always had stuff like that a long time ago. Cosby House. Some of y'all might. Let's not get into that. It was a great show. Okay. But, yeah, because I didn't know how to deal with them kids. I really, But I lived and learned, and they did too. And stuff like that, I would make them sit down and watch, shows like that. I appreciate that because of what they have to offer and the lessons and things like that. Bernie Mac, maybe not all of it 100% good and clean, but the whole around it, was good. And, if their dad wasn't there, because you guys know he was on the road a lot, we would tell him all about it. But they learn how to problem solve. And I got to credit that to what happens now. They know how to problem solve. And that's why I'm so comfortable with letting them leave the house. I taught you guys about letting them have access to the bank account because we trust them like that. They're not going to screw us because they have good sense and they know what's going to happen if they get cut off. So I hear a lot of, I want to be my child's friend. That is very dangerous. And again, somebody's probably shaking their head. You know what? You're the parent, okay? You're not going to be that child's friend. I'm going to tell you something. I think it took till maybe when I got in my 20s that I really got close to my mothers. And I say mothers because you guys know the adoption issue. But we were not, not that we had bad relationships, but you're especially when you're in teenage years, you're not your friend, your mom's friend, period. You got girlfriends and stuff like that. So that notion, trying to be your child's friend, don't tell them that. Do not tell them that because a child processes that differently than what we're telling them. Okay? I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. Bottom line. Okay? You can be friendly and all of that. We had the neighborhood house. The kids everywhere. We taking care of the kids, love the kids, and come hang out with us. We having the little parties and taking the kids over to the mall and stuff like that. But we're not your friends. We're your parents. There's a line. There's a fine line. Because when the kids start thinking that, and a lot of them, because they're not mature enough, they just take that and run with it. My mom, my dad is my friend. Yeah, they will run all over you. Well, you my friend, so why you wouldn't let me do this? My friends, I'm not your friend. Don't even put me in that category. Do your friends, do you live with your friends? No. Go live, first, I tell them, hey, I'm your friend. You don't live with your friends, so you need to leave my house. If you want to be friends like that, we could be friends. But hopefully, this really kind of helps. Really helps. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, tell anybody what to do or things like that. A lot of this is tried and true. It's gone through, psychologists and therapists and psychiatrists and things like that. And they study the stuff, and it's like I just take things and just gather it and apply my own whatever, because some of this is not from them. It's just stuff that we do, and it just seems to work, and I'm not saying it's going to work in your house, but definitely the journal. You're making observations, and that's what the majority of people fail to do in any situation. I don't care if it's at home, if it's at school, not just a homeschool parent, not just parents, people in general fail to observe anything. They're quick to speak. Okay? Slow to act. Act, but not act. Okay? Be proactive. Don't be reactive. Okay? Don't be reactive. Sit back and look at stuff. I see a lot of stuff. I see a lot of stuff here. It's a lot of stuff, if you're here from just homeschooling, you probably just know about the homeschooling side of YouTube. I watch a lot of different things. I see so much stuff. It's crazy. Some of the stuff I can't even. It just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. And just social media in general. That's why I had to stay off of stuff, because it had me feeling all types of, and I just can't deal with that. It just makes me, I don't like to get so caught up like that. I was seeing my sister getting caught up in something that didn't even, when things get like that, you need to back off. That's just a red flag. You need to back off. You're getting too vested. That's not your house. It's not your business. Find something else constructive to do. Go read a book or something. Read a parenting book. I don't know. But, yeah, I have read some great ones over the years. But do something constructive. These kids are going to be little but so long. I'm so tired of hearing my kids. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with these kids? Why are they acting like this? No, we cannot control them and make them, they're not little robots. But again, they are reacting to what they see. Whether it's in the home, it's on TV. I can't stress that enough. TV. I see these little kids with these little British accents, and they watching Peppa Pig. My kids love Peppa Pig. But those are little things, and I noticed that. Okay, we picked up on that. It's not hard, but it's a lot of things that kids do. The way they react is something they see on TV, something they see other kids doing. Okay? Games that they're playing make them act like that. That's why they tell you that, the video games cause ADHD and hyperactivity. Yeah, lights. People get wired on their phones. You got insomnia. You don't have insomnia. You've been on your phone all day and all night, and your brain cannot turn off from them lights. So now you can't go to sleep when you were dead tired. And you've been on this thing, and so that's how you function every day. You're a walking zombie. That's the reason why your kids act like that, because you're really not getting to the heart of the problem, because you're tired. My husband will help me. You're tired. Have you been on the phone all day? Have you been on the computer all day? Did you get enough sleep? Did you cut that phone off, that computer off 2 hours before you got to bed? Because if you're in the bed with the phone, I don't see how people go to bed with the phone, wake up, and that's the first thing they do is get the phone. You shouldn't do that. That's bad habits. So, you wondering what's wrong with the children, look at your own behaviors first. Sibling rivalry. Again, I'm not saying it does not exist. It does exist. I'm well aware of it. But it can be alleviated. It can be minimized and early. Okay, this is, before school age. And again, something, in the school wise, you should never compare your children to each other. They should not know what each other's doing. If you have a child that is prone to tantrums, you need to have a place for that child to be by themselves, or you need to be working with that child alone. So that, because a lot of kids thrive off of an audience. So they acting a fool because they know the other siblings are watching. Or they're just egging each other on just to aggravate you. And like I say, the first time, you do this with a toddler, you take them out and they act a fool and you give them the candy. They got you right there. They got you. They got you. Now, the stranger might give them the candy, but I'm not. And people look at me and they ask. Okay, they will ask. Is it okay? I have said no at times, and sometimes I've said yes. And they know, and I know what they're doing. They're trying to get them to stop. But they ask. It's respect. But if you let them just take you like that, I don't care if paying for the whatever, you grab that child and you give that child a firm no, and you let that be it. Don't keep talking to that child. No. Do not debate with them. I do that with the big kids. No. It's very simple. Just say no. If you're going to say yes, it has to be yes. If you're going to say no, it has to be no. Don't change your mind. Don't do it out of convenience. If you do it the first time, you're going to have to do it every time. So you have to be prepared for that. Those of you that have little ones, you have to, it's a consistency thing. That's what it is. You have to do things. Parenting has to be consistent. If it's inconsistent, these kids can read you. We got a situation going on now with some kids, and all parents are not consistent, and the kids can read that. And, having to clean it up is not fun at all. And I'm doing I'm taking a higher road because I've been through it before. I'm not really cleaning up anything. The situation will work itself out. I don't have to say anything because I've done it before and I see the results. But if you have a, parent that has been inconsistent, it will show. It will definitely show. So, take your time to have your family meetings once a week. That observation thing, get your husband on board for the observations. Let him observe things, because sometimes husband will see things that we don't see. And don't try to, they only did this because you were watching them. He might see things in a different light. Explain to him what's going on, what you saw. Did you see this? What was I doing? You guys have to hold yourself accountable as parents. Okay, the child is only going to do what you let them do. You're not going to sit here and argue and aggravate everybody in this house. It's not going to happen. So you're comfortable with them battling. That's the reason why they do it. Bottom line. And I really love how how you pointed that out. Yes, their brains aren't developed enough yet, so they don't know how to resolve the conflicts. You have to teach them. And if you don't know yourself, you're not going to be able to teach them. You cannot expect them to be able to resolve conflicts. Not everybody knows how to resolve conflicts. Some people just, when I hear, I just tell them to stop. That's how people deal with everything. They just want it to stop. If something is not the way they want it or they're comfortable with, they want it to stop. And you can't go through life like that. It's not going to stop. You got to go to work. You got to deal with people that you don't want to deal with because you need money. Take care of yourself. You got to go places where, you're driving in traffic, people cutting you off. They're not going to stop just because you want them to. Grow up. I don't understand that. Be accountable. The faith issue, I really don't want to get into it, but people are not even accountable that way. Oh, we're faithful, we do this, we do that, we're that. You're not really, not if you're worried about your kids. They're driving me crazy. You're not faithful, because you wouldn't have those issues. There's something going on. There's a disconnect somewhere. I don't know, what it is. And I know I'm only making a basic observation based on things that I see, but a lot of times I see stuff over and over again, and a lot of times it's from the same people, and it's like a long time, and I'm like, man, I pray for these people, but all I can say is hopefully this will hit. I'm probably going to retitle this this video or this chat, but hopefully something will hit somebody. If not, just keep the journal. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have dealt with a lot of things, and you guys, I can't. It's too much. It's too much to fathom. If I were just to come on here and start telling, I respect my family, first of all. I'm not going to do that. But we've dealt with some doozies, okay? And sibling rivalry, that is a piece of cake, okay? I'm telling you, I could just look at them, and that's it. I have that much control over these kids, okay? I don't know. I had strong people in my life raising me, so you guys got to get it under control. I have faith in everybody, and when I say it, I really do. I have faith in everybody. I just want you all to have faith in yourself. True faith. Okay? If you're a wimp parent, own up to it and pray about it. You might not always know. I had to get my husband on the board with the conflict thing, because some of the stuff he'd be like, well, they said this and they said that. And I'm like, are you serious? Does that even make logical sense? And he started thinking things through a lot more. And so now with these older grown kids, we get hit with all kind of stuff. And we do this reverse deal, because if they call in on the phone, you guys hear, with their problems. If we tell them what to do, they're not going to do it. Okay? So we know how to, well, yeah, and they work it out. We have, yeah. We just had to learn how to, they tag team us. We got tag team them because we're outnumbered. And man, we've been in some situations that are just unfathomable. Go back and read. Right, I was an only child, so I didn't have to deal with sibling conflicts. Yeah, that's a tough one. And also, just being a single parent. Not a single parent, but, well, even a single parent. But parents of, let me not even say that, because I don't even say that. When you have one child, I've always said this. So many people can disagree or not, I don't know. But when you have one child, you're not a parent. You are mom and dad. You have nothing to compare it to. You're just mom and dad. When you have two children is when you become parents. because a whole new ball game. Things change, curveball. That's why people say, "Oh, I don't want more than this many kids." When you have 2, 3, 4, they all just fall right in line. It's no different. There's no change. The biggest change is going from 1 to 2, not 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. That's the 1 to 2 change, because you have to up your game and be more aware, and you have more experience. Just becoming, and I know parent, it's a word in the dictionary, y'all. It's a word in the dictionary. A lot of things are term things, but they don't really make sense. But parents, and parents by definition, is very broad. That's why I say you're not parents until you have to. Okay? For the silly stuff my girls argue about. Like, she's breathing on me. I tell them to work it out. Exactly. And see, that's stuff that I just, that's the stuff. They don't not to even come to me. They better not even breathe those words. She's breathing on me. Well, you have one or the 2 things. First of all, you're not coming to me. Second one, you need to figure out how to get away from her. Because, see, they don't want... You go to your room, go get in your bed. Nobody can breathe on you in your bed. And see, they don't want that. So they just quickly change their mind about little petty stuff like that. You give them an alternative, they change. They change real quick. She took my, whatever. I would get little stuff like, she took my sandwich. If I made you this sandwich and put this sandwich in your hand, okay, and I watched you start eating this sandwich, and then you want to tell me that somebody took your sandwich out of your hand, that's your problem. You're just going to be hungry till the next meal. How do you let somebody take your sandwich out of your hand? Y'all, I get that same little petty mess. After they hungry, because they don't have their sandwich that one time, they learn. And I'm not saying they starve and they have other things, but they might have wanted that sandwich, You know how it is when you got something in the refrigerator, you get something, somebody eat it up. But I'm just saying, they learn. They learn really quickly. And it's like that is yours. You are in control of it. And you let somebody do something to you knowingly. You have to be accountable for that action. Just like you have to be accountable for the kids acting like that. Then you go to that other child. Did you take this sandwich from this child? Why would you take this sandwich from this child? Let them, go through the whole spiel. Do you know this child is going to be hungry? If somebody had taken your sandwich, how would you feel? Usually after 1 time or 2 times of going through something like that, we never have to deal with anybody taking anything from anybody. Possessions. Because if I have to intervene, I'm taking everything from everybody, and that'll end it all. I told you guys about the other week we had the meeting, and the deal was not cleaning up. And what happened was I got the Xbox controllers. They came upstairs with me. That was it. That was all she wrote. All he wrote. I was instructed to come down the stairs. I came down the stairs, watched them all line up on the couch. And at the end, I had the controllers. Go put it up. That was it. I don't know. It probably was a week later. Yeah, it probably was a week later when he came home. Where the controllers? He didn't even know where they were. So, yeah, you guys have to stop being enablers to the sibling rivalry. Last thing on this before I get off, my husband did not have the now it was just 2 of us, my brother, my younger brother, and I in the home. He did not have sisters. And they didn't, the way they dealt with things, for the most part, my mom was, she raised us at a point by herself. Okay. My birth mother. So the way they dealt with things, they didn't know how to conflict resolved in their home. And I had to help him understand what I was dealing with because he was at work all day. And we had to sit down and talk. And yeah, sometimes it turned into some, I'm not going to say full-blown arguments, but it was some deep stuff. The kids were asleep or out the house or whatever. You know, we didn't let them know what was going on, or we'd be in a car, something like that, trying to talk about this stuff to figure out how to deal with it. But they didn't do that in their home. He had no idea how to deal with conflicts. And maybe maybe we can touch on that, and he can talk to you guys about, how they didn't resolve a lot. And I know in my mom's home, it was 10 of them. And the relationship now, when they fall out with each other, so-and-so don't speak to somebody, and then they don't want you to go talk to them. My aunts and uncles, they, when they fall out, one of them fall out with the other one, they don't want everybody else to talk to the one they done fell out with. It's because they didn't learn how to conflict resolve. Everybody was fighting for that attention, that rivalry. So I made sure that stuff that I learned and stuff that I had to deal with in the home, that my kids I didn't reteach those behaviors to them. I'm breaking cycles is what I'm doing. Somebody hit me up on Instagram today. A baby girl left yesterday, and they were like, okay, you got Duke, you got Loyola, in LA, and you got receipts to back up everything you say. You guys, I'm not putting on the front. That was so heartfelt. I have to respond to that, but I have receipts for things that I tell you guys because I care. Okay? And I know I have people that still shake their head, but many of you really do appreciate. I get so many things, not even in the public, messages. I know you all appreciate. That's the only reason why I come like this. Okay? Because I care. I don't like to see anybody depressed, or I don't want to hear about anybody having heart attacks or stressed out, or, just giving up. You guys have to have faith. Faith, serious faith. You have to have that mustard seed faith, okay? These kids, man, they're not a joke. And they seem like these millennium kids, oh my gosh, I say this all the time, these kids are a whole different breed. Even mine. They are a whole different breed. But, we deal with it. We deal with it. We deal with it. So, family meetings, keep your journal, okay? Really important. Document what they're eating, how they're eating. Document their, I don't know if I said their sleep habits, but document their sleep habits. If they're tired when the arguments are occurring, things like that. If they're bored, are they really bored? What did you just tell them to go away? And so they just gonna go aggravate, somebody else. So things that we really could have avoided, they go and, start stuff. I'm really curious. Somebody let me know, for real. I mean, if you think I'm just saying stuff outside of my head, whatever. Come back and let me know. If you enjoy, thumbs up. Come to me in private. I don't care. I just want some feedback, for real. You all be blessed. And I will see you all in the next one. Mm-hmm.